Hey, Mike from the Fulcrum here. Got a little story for you about perseverance and self-improvement that might make your day. But first, I can go grab a much-needed coffee. Got a bit of a change in the weather. Makes me think of Shakespeare. Now is the winter of our discontent turned glorious summer. Yesterday was overcast, rainy off and on all day. Today, sun was out bright and shiny. It wasn't actually forecast to be this nice. It's up to almost 20 degrees, which is about 70 for my American friends. And just out for a little drive, thinking about inspiration. We often think about inspiration coming from famous people, sports heroes, people who have overcome adversity, health issues. Generally, not average people, just famous people. Occasionally, someone will come out of the blue who will stir our emotions, like, for example, the late Terry Fox, Canadian, who had a leg removed from cancer and attempted to run across Canada, got as far as Thunder Bay. They celebrate his trying to do that every year now and raise funds for cancer. But there's people around you every day that can inspire you that you wouldn't think. Case in point, I have a story for you. I'm trying not to be too hairy dog long about it. But a while back on Facebook, I was reconnected with a guy I knew from high school. He was always what we used to call husky. But over the years, husky turned into obese. And because he worked in an office-type job, he didn't get much exercise, and it just increased year by year. Well, so I had occasion to see him on Facebook, and one day he put a request up asking if anyone knew where he could get a specialized office chair because his nerves were getting pinched in his hips, and he was having some issues. And for some reason, I was tempted just to contact him and touch base, and I said, hey, how you doing? I saw your post about the chairs. I could make some recommendations because I know, I had a home office where I was working, sitting down most of the day too. I knew what it could be like, so I couldn't imagine it'd be like for someone of his size to be able to do that. And I said, but are you sure the chair is going to help? He responded rather quickly. He says, you're right, actually. He says, I have to do something. He says, I had a scare. Something happened. It scared the absolute shit out of me. I said, do you mind me asking what it was? He said, yeah, as you know, like I used to go fly fishing with my dad, and I still do that on my own. I was in the river, standing in water just over my knees. I had my hip waders on, casting out. And suddenly my leg went out from under me. I just lost total strength. It pinched. I went down. I almost drowned in 2.5 feet of water. In such pain, I could hardly even move. I actually had to roll ashore. It took me 20 minutes to get to shore. There was no one else around. And then I had to sit there for the better part of half an hour before I was able to get up and walk. He said the whole time I had visions flash through my head of them finding my body downstream, father of 4, and pictures of my kids. I realized something has to be done. But I don't know what to do. I've been to the gym, and every time I go, I end up hurting myself, and then I'm discouraged to go back. So we went back and forth a bit, and I suggested that, maybe he was just overdoing it with the gym, and if, he really didn't want to go the trainer route, how about just starting off something real simple, like going for a walk every night after dinner? He said, well, yeah, that would work out well. He said, I moved to a little town to the north of you there, and there's a water reservoir with a path all around it, and benches and places you can sit down. And he says, from my house to the loop is about 2.5 miles. I said, okay, well, how about you just go out, walk about as far as you feel comfortable, find the nearest bench, sit down, take a thermos of coffee with you if you want, sit there till you catch your breath, feel better, and then turn around and come home. Then every time you go, try and go just a little bit further. So he thanked me for my recommendation, and I didn't hear anything more from him for about a month. And then I see that he was asking for requests about some shoes that would work for hiking and even a little bit of running, something with some cushion in it. So I was tempted to contact him again. So I asked how things were going. And he said, yeah, I did, I tried what you said. And he says, I got the point now. I get about 3/4 of the way around the reservoir, and I sit down, and My plan is I'm going to finish the loop, and then what I'm going to do is I'm going to start working my way back round so that I get around 5 miles in. So, we chatted back and forth, and he seemed to be really upbeat about that. I didn't hear anything more from him for about a month and a half or so, and then I saw another post come up where he was thinking about trying a 5K run in the next, maybe about 3 months on. So I thought, well, this is going to be interesting. And he posted up some pictures. I could see he had lost weight. So I contacted him again, and I said, hey, that's great, going on that 5K, and you feel like you're up to it, you're okay? And he goes, yeah. He says, actually, he says, my closet, he says, I never threw any clothes out. He says, I grew up poor, and I never threw anything away. And my wife always wanted to get rid of this stuff, but I got clothes in there I haven't worn in 15 years. I'm actually starting to go back to my skinnier clothes in the closet. I said, well, that's great. That's great. So he did do the 5K. And in subsequent months coming on, he increased his distance. At one point, he was doing a 15K with his daughter, who was also into running. And a lot more smiling pictures of him on the internet with the kids, hiking, fishing, regular activities that you never saw before. So it went by, I guess, about 6 or 7 months or so, and he ended up contacting me and wanted to know what I was up to, and met for coffee. And I could see he'd lost probably about 40 pounds. And he said, yeah, he said, that closet is getting real skinny. So am I. And I said, yeah, I can see the difference in you. That's something else. So he said, yeah, I'm going to go back to the gym. It was the same one I was going to, but with the hours we worked, we wouldn't see one another. But one day, about 6 months later, I'm in the change room, and I hear this voice, hey, Mike. I turn around and look at the direction where the voice is coming from, and I didn't really recognize who it was coming from, because the guy was coming from weighed around 175 pounds. He says, it's me. Goes like this. He'd lost total 109 pounds in less than a year. Now, I find that inspiring. And anyone that can do that should be proud of themselves. But he did it the right way. He didn't go whole hog at it. He went as far as he could go without much discomfort. He checked with his doctor before he got into an exercise program, and he kept with it. And it was just a gradual increase of the amount he could do. So we went and had another coffee and chatted about things. And he said, he said, I had to go out and buy all new clothes. He said, I got back to clothes that I probably haven't worn in 20 years, and they were all too big. He says, my wife was over the moon because she always really didn't like the way I dressed anyway, so she got to pick me a whole new wardrobe. So you see, there's inspiration for you. Just one guy, somebody I knew. Maybe you know someone like that. And the thing is, sometimes inspiration works both ways. Maybe a little bit of support and a little bit of advice given to someone in that situation. Don't try and make them feel bad about where they are. Give them all the encouragement you can. It may work wonders. And people observing what they're doing, it'll encourage others to do the same. So, as always, breathe deep, think clearly, enjoy each day, and get your ass to the gym.